and I'm up $20 million on this stock. I'm in my mid 20s. I believe I was 25 years old. I thought I was completely invincible. I never seen money like that. $20 million in my account. And I stopped paying attention. I'm like, this thing is going through, it's gonna go higher. I'm thinking like it's invincible, it's gonna go higher. I'll never forget, I'm coming home from Connecticut with my mentor. And he was like, don't you think you may want to like take it out? And I was like, nah, it's gonna break through 8. I'm good. It's about an hour drive home. And I'll never forget this day. The market crashes, tumbles, and I lose all of it.
Oh, no, like all of it?
No, like I was able to take out enough to be able to like pay my rent or whatever, but like I lost the majority of my net worth, period. Yeah, it was devastating.
What'd that feel like? Walk me through that.
Oh my God.
What'd you go through?
It went through a biggest than when I learned about ego. I was devastated, like this is so fucking bad. So I'll never forget, I went to talk to my mom. My mom tells me this story. I didn't know this. She said to me,
but yeah, man, I mean, it's good to unplug, because this has become such a daily part of my life now that it's just sometimes just like, okay,
it's tough.
I mean, I'm in the fucking bathroom with this thing.
Yeah.
It's just like it never.
Let me ask you a question. Do you go to bed with it?
In the bed?
Be real. I'm just curious.
Yes.
You're in bed with it, right?
Yes.
Is it like the last thing right before you go to sleep that's like you're just like putting it away?
Yeah.
Dude, I think that's a habit that I would like to change.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a habit. Like I think when you hit bed, your phone's got to be.
Then it can't be in the room.
You got to be off, or like, I mean, if you have trouble turning it off, it needs to be on the counter with the charger, with its alarm.
Yeah, other room.
That's it. Because I think it's like, that's the moment where you should be getting tranquil with yourself. You should be getting more intimate with your girl, your wife. You should be like thinking about your day, digesting what you've done, thinking creatively, thinking about the next day. And like too many people going to sleep like,
yeah, I'm scrolling, and I like the blue lights like destroying my eyes. Yeah. I have like a little blue light blockers. I'm like, I gotcha. I can be as long as I need to.
Yeah.
I'm
we
like
get some good
updating to see if
combos
there's like new likes on the thing that I put up. I'm like, man, am I the device or is the phone the device? Yeah. I think I'm the phone's device.
Right? Yeah, it's like running us now.
It runs my life. And then I'll look at it and I'll be like, this didn't get as much engagement as I wanted. What the fuck is that? Like, why do I care so much? Why do I care? So I don't know, man. But
is there Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Just so that I can get these posts.
Studio A, STA.
All right, cool. Once. KTM S underscore ST underscore A? Yes. Should I do the 5G one or regular?
The regular.
Okay, cool.
I believe the password is Wilshire @405.
Thank you, sir. Someone hit me up about taking founders to Atlanta.
You should. They need it.
Yeah.
They need it. It's a underserved market, and there's a lot of smart people there, but they don't have all the same tools, and they don't think the same way about business in the South that they do on the East Coast or in California.
Right.
It's very much fertile ground. If you can really blow something up, because you'll be like the only one there doing something like that.
I like that.
They don't really have a lot of co-working spaces. They don't really have a lot of access to startup capital or anything like that.
How do you pronounce your last name? Di Piazza?
Perfect. Cool. Killed it. Marvin, I want to have you take this over in a minute, okay?
What up, Chase? It's good, Tommy. It's good, Vito. I just wanted to check in with all y'all, say what's good. Yo, Chito, what up, comp? Elias, how you doing? Dylan, what's good? I'm hanging out with my boy, Daniel Di Piazza. We're about to go live on Which 20-something podcast. It's about to be lit.
Oh, you're on the Snap.
Oh, no, I'm on the Insta Live.
You're on Insta Live. Okay,
Insta
cool.
Live, yeah.
Let's do it.
I've been doubling down on the Insta Live, or just Insta. Snap. I've been having trouble. It's been tough to manage both.
I mean, I think that they're just trying to. I don't think one's better than the other at this
Yeah.
point. They're just different.
Different, yeah.
You know, I don't. And the engagement on Insta Live sometimes is really good and sometimes it's better on Snap. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to know exactly about how everything like the
Yeah.
algorithms work. I kind of just do it.
I don't know. I think I like the Instagram fam. What up, guys? So I just wanted to touch base real quick. I'm about to go live. Doing a podcast. Been having a busy day today. Hope everybody's having a really, really great day. It's Monday, so you know what time it is. You guys got to really execute. You know, a lot of people out there all bitching about the fact that it's a new week and stuff, and you know that they're not seeing results. You guys got to get into motion. This is your week to step it up. A lot of people come into the new year with all these New Year's resolutions, and they're all motivated and talking all this smash about how they're gonna kill it this year. And then next thing you know, a week or two goes by, and that motivation dies out, and you're back to the same old habits. I want you guys to break through some of those habits, really step up your game, really step up. You know, don't just be motivated or look for motivation. Like really put it into action. Put it into action. Put it into execution. You know, I'm a guy who consistently competes with myself to try to become the better version of myself, and I'm gonna be pushing heavy this year. And the biggest thing that I want to do this year is challenge myself to do the uncomfortable shit and to surround myself with more and more better people. Continue to build my circle of influence. So I'm excited today. I'm going to be hanging out with Daniel here. If you guys do not know about Daniel, check out his Instagram. It's at Rich20something with a G though, right? I'm a little hood. So Rich20. So Rich20 something. So make sure you guys give him a follow. And everybody, this is it. Like, get your week started. I want to hear that you guys are killing it. I'll be back in a little bit. But I want to know that you guys are not, I don't want to even see my live more lit next time. I want to know that you guys are putting it into action and working. So get back to the grind. I'm going to get to this podcast. You guys will be hearing it soon. Danny, when will this thing drop, you think?
Like next month.
Next month? Bet. So, all right, everybody, have a great Monday. I'll talk to you guys soon. Daniel, thank you for having me, man.
Let's do it, man.
About to do it.
We're just
Thanks,
getting
guys.
started.
All right, cool.
Oh, man. I'll share that too. It's going to get a lot more pickup after we kind of share it, and we'll put it on different pages. You know how it goes.
Sweet. Yeah, sure. Should I do a live, Facebook live too, or not? Just let it ride. I think I'll share his. Yeah.
I gotta get my my shares. If you better share it, man. I gotta. Are we on, Sean? Are we live?
Diddy's gonna have to start sponsoring my ass, yo. We gotta hit up Diddy. Yo, Diddy.
Ready to go?
What's good?
Does he? Is that his?
Yeah.
What?
Diddy and Mark Wahlberg.
Why?
Mark, Diddy, you need to be sponsoring me and Daniel. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Trust me, we've got competition. You know, real quick.
It's so funny how
Water's life.
You, like at a certain point when you get like really famous, we made a water.
Yeah.
You know, like
Fuck it.
it's not even like a special product. We just made water.
Yeah.
You know,
that was one of the companies I tried starting when I was younger, believe it or not.
a water company, bottled water
A
company.
diet water company. I was like, okay, there's obesity. And I was like, man, what does everybody drink that's like not, I know it sounds crazy.
No, tell me.
But I was like, you know, there's you know, all these companies. I think it was right after 50 sold vitamin water.
All right, you're like, okay.
And I was like, yo, 50, I see you. Like, that was a major move by 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. So I started thinking about it, and I was like, but there should be something that, because I started hearing how vitamin water, there was like this huge trend for vitamin water, but it's actually not healthy for you, right? It's got a lot of sugar, it's the flavor.
It doesn't actually taste that good either. I mean, it's okay.
It depends. Yeah,
certain colors are okay.
Colors. I like the pomegranate one.
It's pretty good.
But so I was like, damn, like that shouldn't even healthy for you. So what if we came out with a water that actually was healthy for you and naturally helped you lose weight? Because if you just stop drinking sugar, period, and just drink water, you'll naturally start losing calories.
Yeah.
But now if you add, and my brother-in-law was a chemist for Merck Pharmaceuticals. So I was like, you know, I always like to figure out the talent and put it together. So I hit up my brother. I'm like, is that possible? Is it possible for us to come up with a water that tastes like water, but will help people lose even more weight? And he's like, actually, and he tested it, and we did. He said we can do it. And then you know what? I stopped because of consultants. Because I got in touch with consultants that help Snapple, and consultants freaking dry you up real quick.
Tell you?
They just tried to charge me like crazy amounts of money for the distribution and like all this stuff, and they were giving me to run around.
We have a plan to distribute your water. Here's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm really big with branding. And this is when like, and I go with my intuition with a lot of things. So I was going forward with it. I didn't like the consultants where that was going. And the name of it was called Svelte water. Svelte kind of having that like, you know, that slim kind of.
Women would definitely pick up on that.
Exactly. So it's for more geared towards women.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, someone had trademarked Svelte and I couldn't get that name brand. And I was like, all right, you know, and I thought about it a little bit more. And then I ended up just pivoting away from it. One of those things where typically, you know, if I was really, really completely passionate about an idea, I wouldn't give up, right? I keep figuring it out.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that like, you know, when I was younger, I would test out. And if I just felt like it wasn't right and it was things that just weren't working out, I would move on. I wouldn't get too emotionally attached to it.
Every entrepreneur has like a graveyard, right? Like of ideas. You're like,
yeah,
that one died.
Yeah.
You know, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool because it makes for good stories like this.
Yeah.
And then you have sometimes years later, you'd be like, oh, I'll put those two together, or like something sparks something later. Because it's,
we'll
talk about your creative process a little bit. How do you come up with new ideas for businesses? What do you do?
It's pretty simple. I don't stop thinking about solutions that I face on a daily basis. So, you know, I'm constantly every single day thinking about like, hey, how can I make this better? How can I make this process better? How can I make this water a little bit better? And like, and those are just, you know, it'll help me ideate, but I really won't, as an entrepreneur, go after something unless like I'm legitimately facing a problem and I don't find the solution, you know? So I'm working on a project right now. I'll give you a latest one, which is I'm starting doing, you know, a lot of videos on YouTube right now. I have my new series called Leaders Create Leaders. Yep. Just dropped that, season two. And I take a lot of pride in my work, you know, like I don't try to pump stuff out quick. Like I try to take my time and really do premium content, premium work. And I did a series because I felt everyone was going vlogging and I was like, okay, hang on. If everyone's going that way, let me go this way. But the problem that I saw was like, there was so much on YouTube that was like these people getting crazy millions and millions of views that were pranksters and just makeup tutorials.
Casey Neistat.
Yeah. Oh, well, Casey.
Vlogging.
But I felt like there wasn't a lot for like premium content creators. And I felt like, damn, I feel like my work is going to get saturated by all the other people that are doing not as much premium, just more consistent, you know, a lot of vlogging, or, you know, the prankster stuff. And, you know, they create clickbait because I understand that world from Elite Daily, clickbait. So they got their cover photos, all clickbait and all this stuff. And I'm just like, okay, this is not a platform that I can see where I want to take my content, where I really want to be. So for me, it's like, okay, I see a problem here. There's got to be other great content, like premium content creators out there. You know, I even made documentaries back in my, in time. So it's like, okay, let's create it. Let's look at that landscape. Let's look at the video landscape out there and like figure out what would a new video platform look like, and where is the trend going with the way that we behave when consuming content right now that's video related, which is going to be 80% of content consumed over the next year. So something like that, I'll click, you know, and I'm facing it and I'm like, you know what? If that's how I'm feeling, there should be other people feeling that way too. What is a solution to that? And then let's create it, you know? And so that's what I'm doing right now is working on a new project that's more of a tech type play to long-term position, not just my content, but other premium content providers that would like to be on a new, unique video platform where they know that their content's going to share, you know, and rub shoulders with other content creators that are putting up that kind of pristine type of content. It's educating, it's educational, it's inspiring, you know, it's positive.
Vimeo hasn't done a good job of making their stuff shareable.
Yeah,
they have a lot of really good content up there, and a lot of people, filmmakers, respect the platform,
right? But
you don't really see it shared.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I almost look at it as like Vimeo has become more of like a tool for video rather than
it's like hosts video.
Yeah,
it's not a platform; it hosts it. Kind of like Wistia. It's kind of same thing to me.
Agreed. So that's kind of my process. You know, I think the best thing that you can do as an entrepreneur is solve problems that you're facing, that you're passionate about. That's like the best thing. I think that's where the best innovation happens.
I was just talking about this on a webinar a couple days ago, and look, there's so many problems to solve. There's an unlimited amount of ideas you can have.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be what you're talking about isn't a new idea. It's a pivot on a existing idea that solves a problem, a challenge.
Yes.
You know, you don't have there's not really a lot of new problems to solve, or at least let Elon Musk handle that.
Yeah.
Like coming up with new problems or solving like ridiculously earth-shatteringly hard problems.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that, especially as your first project, right? So many young people are like, okay, you know, they want to take on the biggest project they can take on. And I'm more of the mind of starting with small steps and solving problems to build confidence in yourself in order to get to the point where you can take on bigger challenges.
I love that.
What do you think is the easiest way for someone to get their idea and put it out in the world without having to worry about having a lot of startup capital? Because people don't have that.
Yeah. I think that, you know, the time where everyone looked at going and raising millions of dollars for their idea and like going to like venture capitalists to raise money. I mean, I feel like, you know, where everyone felt like it was easy to raise money, that time is over. Like over the past 10 years, we've seen a lot of amazing unicorns happen, right? We've seen the Ubers of the world come up, the Airbnbs, the Snapchats, and all these unbelievable companies that have happened in 10 years. And that does inspire us to know that like you really could create something in like Instagram within like a year, 2 years, it could hit and become that massive, unbelievable success.
Totally.
But that doesn't necessarily, if you don't have that, that doesn't mean you can't become successful with starting small and having something that you don't need to go and raise millions of dollars. You don't need to have the biggest idea in the world that's going to impact billions and billions of people just yet. You can create something that's a small solution for a target niche market and be extremely successful. And in fact, I think that your probability to become successful becomes higher when you get very, very granular and more definitive in the problem that you're solving and the target market that you're solving it for, even though it may not seem like, oh, this is like the $100 billion. No, if you go for that nice little niche and you start small, you learn a lot about that. You can have a lot of success. And then like you just mentioned, you can really learn from that process. And once you have some success, once you finally get it, now you can just double down and level up, expand that product line or expand that company or that business, or maybe even start something new on, a new project and take it and step it up, right? Like after you Elite, now it's like, I want to 10X it. And you continue to move up, those levels of success.
Totally. Yeah. And for anyone who's watching right now, or eventually will watch when we put this on air. So Gerard founded Elite Daily, 5 years ago now? Well, when
I think well, we started in 2011 and then the actual real date of like when we launched it was 2012. So it has been 5 years, correct?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't like to do like, tell us your story. People, that's boring for podcasts.
Cool.
And you got a Wikipedia page, so, dope. People can look at you, Gerard Adams, look him up. But I think what's really cool is that, especially with entrepreneurs nowadays, talking about niche market, you don't have to be famous to make a lot of money. There's so many entrepreneurs out there. We know some of them, and there are others that we don't know that are just crushing it by serving a niche market.
Mm-hmm.
They're making $100 million a year, and you have no idea who they are.
Yes.
And you can do that by solving a simple problem.
I 100% agree. And that's why I'm so big with leadership.
Yeah.
I feel like in order to become a leader, you don't need to be famous. You don't need 1 million followers. You don't need millions and millions of dollars. Right now, like you don't need any of that. You just need to have the courage and just the guts to go against the grain.
What's courage mean to you? What's courage mean?
Courage to me, it means being able to get comfortable with doing, what you fear, getting comfortable with fear, understanding that you can overcome fear, you can overcome doubt, those things that hold you back. Courage is the thing that drives through anything that's going to be in your way and try to hold you back. Courage is the thing that should be the driving factor to get you through whatever that is.
You think entrepreneurs need to have courage? You think it's a necessary skill as an
entrepreneur?
Yeah.
I do. 100%. I think you definitely need to have courage because, like with entrepreneurship, it's all about, growing your tolerance for risk and understanding that failure is part of that process. Mistakes are part of that process. If you're not making mistakes, you're not moving forward. So in order for you to have that kind of mindset, to learn, you got to test different things. You got to go, test and pivot, and things are going to happen. Like you need to have courage to try new things.
That shit's real. look, guys, we talk about failure, and that shit just becomes so cliche. It becomes an
Yeah, it
Instagram
does.
quote.
Yeah.
But it's real, and you're not really going to understand it until you push past the point where you're actually taking risks. 'Cause a lot of us get to the point with entrepreneurship where we get to the point where it could get dangerous, and we pull back because it's starting to get too real, and you kind of have to thrust yourself into the unknown. Is that what happened with Elite? You're like, we think we want to start this. I mean, what was your vision in your head? Do you think it was gonna be a blog? Like, what was your vision for it? Did you have a vision for it?
We did 100%. I mean, our vision was we wanted to be the biggest media company in the world, specifically geared towards millennials.
Accomplished.
So that we definitely had that vision. Now, we definitely were like, okay, that's an outcome we're looking for. Now, can I curse on here?
Curse a lot
Okay,
if you
cool.
want.
Yeah, like, hey, what the fuck do we do next? You know, we were like, okay, we're not journalists.
Right, yeah.
We never, you know what I mean? We have a passion for content. I consider myself out of my other co-founders like a storyteller because I had done some many documentaries and things like that. And I had come from a content marketing background. But I've never built a publication to scale to the likes of getting, tens of millions of people every month. And so we definitely hit that point, but it was literally just like, fuck it, man, we're going to just do it. And it started with like, okay, I'm going to interview you. You're going to interview, we're going to interview some of our friends. We're going to interview people on our network little by little. And then we started figuring out like how to build the brand. What does that process look like to actually distribute this content effectively? What was the editing process? And then how can we build a culture to attract millennials to write for us? Because we can only write, that's not scalable. How many people can we write?
3 people
write
articles.
It starts that way, but then real quick, you're like, okay, this is not scalable. So we knew, okay, we need to figure out a way to get millennials all over the world to want to write for us. We ended up getting about 2,000 contributors to end up write 80 to 100 articles per day was our niche.
Yeah,
we needed to get at least 80 to 100 articles per day.
Is it hard to get that many contributors?
Good
contributors?
I don't know about hard. It was like patience, it was just like, it took a little bit of time to get like our first contributor and get like a few more contributors and then tell them like, you have to post on your Facebook and you have to go and spread this through the word to your friends. And it was a lot of like, believe it or not, like guerrilla grassroots type of like,
I believe it. It's
telling them like,
it's not like people think that viral stuff comes just as like some sort of viral fairy comes and like, makes everything blow up. You have to be like, yo, you need to share this. Like, you have to, or like, I'll be like, a requirement of you doing this is that you do that.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. We required every single person, they had to share like our work. And it, over time that continued to cause an effect. And believe it or not, to the day, like we sold, people would say like, try to figure out like what made certain content viral, whatever. Like you really just don't know. There's certain things.
I have no idea how it works.
Yeah, there's certain things you learn, right? Like we end up learning like odd numbers work better than even numbers when you're doing a listicle.
Here's how to do a headline better.
Yeah, stuff like that. But overall, it's it's some of the stuff that you would think would be the most viral wouldn't, and some of the stuff that you would like.
Well, it's also like, I mean, volume. It just plays there's a certain point where as long as it's good content, you're not spamming, Google's like, okay.
Yeah.
If you're producing 100 articles a day, they're like, all right, we'll rank you.
Yeah.
There's too many keywords, there's too much volume. You have to get ranked. It's just like force.
Yeah.
We've
definitely caught a trend with Facebook too. That's what really, at the timing of what we did when we did it, we call a Facebook wave.
But now it's live. Live is the wave now.
Yeah.
But okay, here's a question: as a content creator, is live a real thing that's going to happen, or is it just something that's kind of like a toy we're playing with right now? That's what I'm curious about.
I think live is a real thing. It's interesting. Like Snapchat, I wonder, like, is it a toy?
It's a fun toy.
It's a fun toy. There's no doubt about it.
They're right down here, like in Venice where I live. They're right down the street.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. No, it's just interesting to see how these companies are innovating, right? Like spectacles and all these new things. Like there's just so much innovation happening. It's like out of control, But I think live is definitely here to stay. The question is not if it's here to stay. It's who's going to win the live battle. Right. Is it going to be Facebook?
Well, what's the battle? Is the battle for eyeballs? Is the battle for quality of content? Because you can put live video. The reason why it's hard is because people don't want to do it. Like a lot of people don't want to do live.
Yeah.
Because it's so raw. And YouTube is one thing, right?
Yeah.
Because you can make that high quality content that you're making, but live, like it's hard to make really good live videos.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I was doing it for a little bit, testing it out. I wanted to kind of see. I actually loved it, but it is tough. You know, like I actually had to have my team work with me on like how to make this a little different.
Yeah.
Put these like how do we make some borders, you know? And you know what I think is it's not just hard. It's just a commitment. You know, like it's a serious commitment.
Yeah.
You need to be like very consistent and say to yourself, like, I'm coming on every single day or 3 times a week at these times. And you got to be really, really consistent with it. And that's the biggest thing.
So hard.
Yeah, that's hard.
But the prioritizing this, I mean, just like Elite kind of picked up from Facebook catching up or like taking off.
Yeah.
Live now, dude. I did so I'm doing my webinars on live now. And
oh, really?
So, yeah. So what we did was we figured out how to like stream from the desktop and from a separate, because I can't do it from my phone. If I want to teach something.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, what do you do? Put it in front of the computer?
I'll show you how to do it later. Like, I'll show you later. But
cool.
It's awesome. And we figured out how to like hook up a DSLR to it, so like we can do like real live. And now, you know, dropping this now, Rich 20 is developing a software to be able to use live from your desktop rather than just the phone.
Cool.
Because that's a barrier right there. The phone.
It is.
But dude, I did a webinar. It was 90 minutes, and we hit 800,000 news feeds. And it doesn't make that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that. One, the fact that we hit 800,000 news feeds, part of that's a vanity metric on Facebook's part to encourage you to do it more.
Yes.
But man, that algorithm is picking it up right now.
It's picking it up.
It's really picking it up.
No, it's dope. It's really, really cool to hear. And yeah, when that happens, you just got to double down.
When people start when they're people are gonna come like you and they're gonna start doing real TV shows.
Yeah.
There's gonna be someone. It's the thing is that the barrier to entry is pretty high though, because like you have to have a high production value.
Yeah.
But there's someone who's gonna figure out how to shoot it, and they're gonna start doing like a New Girl, like a comedy, but it's gonna be live on Facebook, only on Facebook, or they're gonna do like a real show, like an SNL, but like high quality.
That's actually interesting that you're saying that. So I tested out live, and then I actually was inspired by live to do a actual show.
Right.
So I've been building a production studio in Founders District, which I've
seen the pictures.
Get into that. And, you know, that's my goal, is to actually build a set. And if I'm going to do it, like do it. You know, I always want to do things like it's like a blessing and a curse, you know, but, cause it takes time. But yeah, that's the thing. You definitely want to and I think that's going to become a wave, you know, like, look, that's where the generation is going. That's where Gen Z is even going to be going. You know, like how much TV do you watch, Daniel?
Not much. No.
Like I don't.
We have it.
You have it, yeah. Like me and my girlfriend don't even have cable.
Yeah, well, we have Hulu and Netflix. Is it?
Yeah,
no cable.
Yeah, we don't. It's like, you know, it's just everyone's just streaming, you know, the content right now. So, and that's why it's so big with like influencers right now, more than, you know, they've got these YouTube stars are bigger than. You know,
they got billboards in LA for YouTube stars. Have you seen any of these yet?
Yeah. Oh, in New York City too.
Oh, they have in New York too.
Yeah, bigger than freaking actors now.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Have there been any YouTube stars who have made like a real successful crossover? Issa Rae now has her show Insecure on HBO. That's her. Has anyone else made like a successful YouTube to like real celebrity transition?
I mean, my boy Jake. I mean, I'm not saying like I don't know how what's
the line?
Real.
I don't know.
I know Logan Paul and Jake Paul. You know,
I know them.
Jake's,
I don't know
Jake's my
personally, but I know who they
boy.
are.
You know, he was in Leaders Create Leaders season 1. He's freaking killing it, dude. He's killing the game, and he's been able to get picked up and work with Disney, and that's a big deal though.
Disney's the jump off.
Disney's
Once
the
you get on
jump
Disney,
off, bro.
Yeah, you can get a record deal.
Yeah. Drake's up in there.
Shit, man. Ariana Grande just took off. You know?
Exactly. So it definitely is happening. But the crazy part is this: whether you know, when you say like picked up and some of these YouTube stars, top YouTube stars are making anywhere from $5 million to $15 million a year.
It's like PewDiePie shit, right? PewDiePie, Jenna Marbles, all these. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know their names off the top of my head, but I just saw it in Entrepreneur Magazine. It listed all of them, and I was like, wow. Well, I'm trying to get Lily Singh. If you see this,
she's great. I love her.
I'm trying to come after Lily.
Superwoman.
Yes. So
she had a movie. She made her own movie. You can do that now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Logan did too.
Yeah.
They made her own movie.
And I think she put it on Netflix.
Yeah, a lot of people are going
Netflix
to Netflix.
or YouTube Red. Because they have like YouTube is trying to do its own like premium paid for content thing. And that's something that free content is now introducing a paywall in a lot of instances with premium content, which could be something that you could work on.
Yeah.
You know, you could have some sort of paywall.
Yeah.
For like the really high level stuff, or you do like, let's say you do Leaders Create Leaders and you like the first season free, but the rest is paid or whatever.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to do that with season 2.
Yeah.
I really was going to do that with season
Just
2.
test it.
Just like the timing, because like I'm launching an academy right now. I want to like have an academy for founders, like, you know, what we're doing over there, you know, plain and simple. We need to understand how to build more of a community. There's only so many people we can get inside of founders, you know what I mean? Move to Newark.
Yeah.
So we want to build out that online academy. So I was like, man, it would be great to have going forward, Leaders Create Leaders, in order to get it, you know, join the Founders Network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in the future, right now, just doing it for the people right now, you know, like not even
People's champ.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for the people.
Yeah.
Well, I think with content, you kind of have to want to do it for other people, because it does pay off, but it's a long play.
It's a long play.
It's not like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I have lots of friends who've started businesses and made money way quicker
Yeah.
than a content-based business.
Yes.
A lot that content, most people don't realize. People see online entrepreneurs, marketers, stuff like that, and they think that immediately as soon as they start a website, they're making money. It ain't like that.
No way.
You have to put a lot of value in. I mean, were you making money off Elite Daily the first year?
No.
And it was the money worth the amount of effort? Like that's
it wasn't anything substantial, but we started making money within our first year, but it was nothing substantial, and I don't even think it was covering our bills.
That's ad revenue, right?
Yeah, ad revenue.
Yeah. I mean,
which now we were lucky. We timed it right, you know, like we were able to still run programmatic remnant type advertising, which is what you typically would see. That means like banner ads and stuff. Now people do not want that at all. Like everything is totally into more native, right?
Yeah,
so it's like getting Leaders Create Leaders to a point where at that point, when I have my aqua hydrate, you know, while I'm entering, you know, Diddy, you know,
freeze frame.
Yeah. So, you know, that's the wave now, having it more native. But content, man, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to build up that brand authenticity with your audience, build that trust, you know, build up the views and hits. You know, you got to show that it's going to get eyeballs, and then you have to go and pitch it correctly to the right brands.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think but like that whole play, you have to develop the skill of patience.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Are you a patient person?
I am definitely more of a patient person now ever than before. Probably. Yeah. She's very impatient.
Is Gerard patient? He's a patient, but you're patient.
Yeah. I'm patient. You know, I was impatient when I started as an entrepreneur, right? Like my early 18. I started at 18.
How old are you now, just for the record?
I'm 30. I just turned 32.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Thank you. So I'm definitely, like I said, I'm more of an older millennial, like yourself, I think, believe too. We're older millennials.
29 this year.
29.
So, yeah.
Like on the higher cusp. So I think we're like more mature big brothers out there of the millennial group. Yeah. Like I was just hanging out with a bunch of them yesterday, and you know, it's awesome to, like, I love it. I love, especially for me as a mentor, I love mentoring. My key is like a 19. Like 19, I feel like, I can just, oh man.
Told you.
Love it.
18, you don't get it, but 19.
19 is that number. I love 19. But you know, those early 20s, and during, I relate to them because I still was a millennial. So I'm like old enough where I remember what it was like to grow up with a beeper and grow up with like, you know, not being attached to social media and going and getting dirty and riding my bike, and I was BMX and I was a skater and I was doing all these things. But I did grow up into the social media era, the tech era. And I was very impatient when I started off as an entrepreneur. You know, I wanted things now, and I learned my lesson. I lost a big lesson. I lost millions of dollars, you know, making decisions. And, you know, I learned my lesson, and now I'm at a point in my life now where it's just like I definitely have more wisdom, and I'm definitely playing the long game.
Isn't that cool when you get a little bit older and then you encounter a situation that previously would have tripped you up, and you're like, oh, I see what that is.
Yeah.
That's not like that. But that could be with like personal stuff. Like it could be like relationship stuff. Like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. Or like business stuff. Like, oh, 10 years ago, I definitely would have jumped on that. But now, absolutely not.
Yes.
You know, I was talking to someone earlier today. Who was it? But they were saying when you first start off and you haven't quite gotten success yet, it's either like questions are either a yes or a no. But when you start to get more successful, it's either a hell yes or a no. You know, so if you don't, like, you have to really, really want to do something and really, really know that you're going to put your effort in. Otherwise, it's just a hell no. And that comes with like the patience, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Also, patience, and I respect about you is the jujitsu.
Oh yeah.
You're a jujitsu, you're a jujitsu artist,
Mhm.
master, and I actually grew up learning a lot of jujitsu from my uncle.
Sean and I roll. That's my training partner.
Oh, sick! That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with my uncle teaching me jujitsu and going to his
Oh,
dojo
man.
and watching the sensei teach him. And like, I'd be like a little kid
It's
and
amazing.
going to like, I'll never forget so many experiences. I saw him going to like ice cold water and have to like meditate in ice cold water. I've seen him have to fight like 5 guys on
That's
his
ama-
knees, all these things, and learn so much. And what I love about jujitsu is
Do you know how much more I love you right now? Because jiu-jitsu is like, it's a soft spot for me.
I saw it.
So
You just
it's
lit
like-
up. Yeah. But it's a lot, so much you learn from it. It's and like one thing I was gonna mention from it is discipline.
Mhm.
You really learn a lot of discipline. I always reference the jujitsu when it comes to like discipline and energy, understanding how to deflect
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
energy and things
Totally.
like that. And I just respect, because with entrepreneurship, I think jujitsu and entrepreneurship, I think work hand in
I
hand.
know.
And I actually want to bring jujitsu to the Founders District. So what's interesting was I was going to bring boxing. Because there's a lot of kids that I mentor that, go have a lot of pain, right? They've gotten, their
Yeah.
friends have gotten murdered, problems at home, things, it's
Yeah.
rough. And I'm like, okay, maybe boxing would be a good way, teach them, let out that anger, train, as like one of those things. And then someone told me with boxing comes a lot of ego. If you look at a lot of
Mhm.
boxers, right, they're very egotistical.
Mhm.
And
How
all
hard
those
can I
things.
hit you?
How hard can I hit you? It's a lot of ego. It's very ego driven. And then I was like, oh my God, jujitsu. And I started thinking about all of the
Crushes the
key
ego.
characteristics. Yeah, crushes all that.
Yeah.
And how hand in hand it plays with entrepreneurship. Talk to me about that.
Dude, there's a good book called The Way of Men by this guy named Jack Donovan, and he
Mhm.
talks about jujitsu, and he's like, there's like the ego and the bravado and the posturing that goes into like blowing yourself up, but you get into a jujitsu gym and you'll just see what's up. You'll just see what's up. A lot of times in boxing gyms or Muay Thai, people are like, bro, if we were like, I can't go 100%, but if we were going 100%,
Yeah.
I would have kicked your ass or whatever. And then jujitsu, it's like we can go 100%, so let's see what's up.
Yeah.
If we need to. And it's good to like get an honest assessment, especially as a man, about where you're at.
Mhm.
And when you're rolling, a lot of times there isn't an immediate move to make. The only thing you can do is wait. And that's the same thing in life. Sometimes not making a move is a move,
That's so powerful.
Ooh, that's a quotable. But sometimes waiting to see what another person does, it allows you to
Tweet
see
that.
it allows you to see your opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, for you with your business, sometimes the move is just like looking at the market. What's going on right now? Where do I fit in?
Yeah. Oh man, that's so powerful. And it's so true. Things are moving so fast, and it's like you want to do so much, and there's like so much opportunity, but like you really need to, I always say like life is a game of chess, man. And sometimes sitting back and really thinking through what your move is going to be, not making one right away.
Yeah.
I think that's a big mistake a lot of entrepreneurs make. They get really excited. Someone will come pitch them an idea. It's like, yeah, we can do this. And it's like,
Yeah.
next thing you know, they're like, yeah, let's go. And it's like, take your time. I'm working on a big business deal right now. And, the person that I'm doing business with got really upset with me because we had a great meeting and we
Yeah.
talked it all about it. And we were like, yeah, let's move forward and we can do this. And it was like, cool. And I was like, let's sleep on it though. And
Yeah.
take this, think about this part. And I'm going to think about that part. And let's get back to each other. Next day I get a term sheet and I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay. You move it quick. And then I took my time and wrote this unbelievably professional email with, my complete thoughts. And he got all upset. Like, I thought we were going to move. And I'm like, dude, you got to take your time with deals. It's not going to just like overnight happen, especially if you're thinking long-term. If you're thinking about what is the intention behind doing this and what is the outcome that you're looking for, and thinking about that like 10 years.
That's the wisdom coming in though.
Wisdom. Yeah. It's like,
19-year-olds don't always get that.
right.
Because the hustle mentality is really big on social media right now.
Yeah.
Hustle and hustle is important.
Right.
But it's like hurry up, but slowly.
Mhm. Yes.
Get to the spot, because you can, as long as you're on your way, you don't need to worry about beating other people because they're gonna drop off anyway.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about like trying to get to somewhere before someone else. I guess maybe if you're in the position like a Zuckerberg, you have to really hit
Oh
things
yeah, you have to
fast.
constantly innovating so quick.
But
You're at that high level.
most of us aren't in that position where we have to innovate or it's
Yeah.
life or death. And even with some, building a content brand, you don't really have a choice. You can't like force virality. You can't force 2,000 writers to come overnight. Like you have to wait it out.
You know what I noticed? It's like we live in a very competitive time right now,
Yeah.
right? Because like there's so much information happening so quickly, and so many people are coming out, and there are so many brands. You can get so caught up in consuming and watching what everyone else is doing, and you're so competitive and like, oh my god, I gotta be first. I gotta do all this. And what I've noticed is like, first of all, you need to stop worrying about everybody else. You really need to focus on just yourself. You'll become so much more clear on where you want to be in life if you stop worrying about what everybody else is doing.
Gerard Zen is fuck right now.
Yeah. And then the other part, I think other than like focusing on yourself, just being like having like a real intention and knowing that it's not gonna like doing it right. That's what I was gonna say. Do it right. Like it's not about like always even just getting it done first. It's just like there's so many people I know that have great ideas and they worry so much about getting it out first. And then it's not quality. And then as much hype as you just created because you just try to get it out as quickly as possible. And then you created this so hype and you're happy because you launched something. And the next thing you know, people are like, yeah, but this is like, this is not the greatest content, or this is not the greatest product, or this is not the greatest, and people recognize that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you much rather come out with the best and something quality and knowing that you've already thought 3 steps ahead of how it's going to be executed and what that experience is going to be for your audience or your customer and doing it right rather than quick. And that is way more powerful in the long run. And let everybody else go and do quick and go fast and do all that stuff. Figure out how to do it right and do it and just execute and know that and be patient. And I that's something that I've had to learn in my career.
Same. Well, I think because there's so much noise that a well thought out, well executed plan is like a piercing voice through the noise.
Yeah.
Because it's not hard to make video anymore. When it was hard to make video, you could put out shit and people would watch it.
Yes.
Because there wasn't that much being put out there. But now, racing to the market, when you get there, everyone's already there. So it's not like you putting it out first. You can't put it out first. They already put it out.
Yeah.
So you might as well scale it back and have the quality. I'd rather you have a 5-episode season and it's dope than 10 episodes all 50%.
There you go.
It
is. That's exactly what I'm saying. 100%. 100%. And if you don't feel that it's there just yet, it's okay. Like, I guess 2 points, right? Like one I was going to say is, you want to make sure that you follow your intuition. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. You know what I mean? Like it's better off to make sure that you feel great about your product. You want to feel great about doing something. So make sure that you feel like this represents me. This represents my values, my character. I feel great about putting this out. Regardless if it's going to get 1 million views or freaking 100 views, like you just feel great. It was a great product that represents you. I think that's the most important thing. And then the other part on it, and when you flip it on its head, is don't worry about how people judge you. And, in my opinion, it's not always going to be perfect, right? Like there are times where like, I consider myself like, I'm trying to be a perfectionist. Like, no, you got to understand that no matter what, season 1, episode 1, I was like, I was so tight. Getting season 1, episode 1 out for me was hard. I was like, this isn't right. It didn't come out great. Like the audio's a little off at Ryan Blair's house. And I was like, it's not whatever, but I felt good. And I felt the messaging was good. I felt I felt really great about it. My intuition was like, you got to roll it out and it'll get better and that's okay. And I did that. And you see the progression and how it's going to continue to get better. And you have to know that like any great product is always going to every great product. You look at Apple, where it started to where it is now, and it is that process where it'll continue to, any great product is going to continue to evolve and you're going to innovate. So it's like, don't try to be like a perfectionist, but just make sure that your intuition is telling you that this is great. I feel good about this. Represents my brand.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier said than done. I would rather see someone make a few mistakes and it not be 100% perfect than never produce anything.
Yeah.
But it's that fine line of knowing when to ship. Okay, I've obsessed enough. And this is because sometimes you have to evolve as a person in order to develop your product better, right? We're not snapping this. We're not. This is I know. But sometimes you have to. Your product gets better when you get better, right?
Yeah.
your business is usually a reflection of where you are in your life.
Yeah.
You know, and Elite Daily was amazing and it's great, but now you've changed and evolved, and so the next thing you do is going to be a representation
Yes,
of what you've learned.
for sure.
You know, and people often forget that like entrepreneurship, I feel like, is a vessel for personal development. You
It
know,
really is.
because you have to face all. You have to just, if you're not going to be honest with yourself as an entrepreneur, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to make it for long. You know.
I agree. Yeah, so true. And I just feel like it's just like I was thinking about this, like, you know, it's the new year, 2017, and it really is just like life is a bunch of chapters. You know what I mean? And I feel like each year is a new chapter in your life. And you think about how I was thinking about this, like how old a human, you know, us as humans live to. You know, like we typically live to, and we all die.
We're getting older. We're the lifespan's increasing though.
Is it?
It's I mean, it's going past 80 now, like as the standard.
Is
average.
that right?
But-
I was gonna, damn man, I was about to say $120, but no.
Oh well, I mean, so, like in some countries, yeah, but
Yeah.
like,
But let's just say for whatever, let's just say 100,
Sure.
you know? And I just feel like you think about that, you know, just like every 10 years of your life is a new chapter. And I genuinely believe that each year, you know, you're just writing, it's another part of that chapter, and you just continue to evolve, and you just like, you know, one day, man, it's just, you look back and it's like you wrote this like unbelievable book of your life, and it's just like, how are you going to write each page?
Yeah.
You know, and just I've been thinking about that a lot, just reflecting a little bit about like, you know, my life and the book that I'm writing, and I'm just like I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm always living the moment.
Because
I'm
you're
setting
you're so
goals,
in it, you know.
It was the first time that this year, like I reflected back, and I'm like, wow, as an entrepreneur too, like how much has happened, and like how much of all the mistakes I made and all those failures played such a big role, and you know how much my character showed even more.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, when the success really did come back, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. Like I would think about how you know our life is a bunch of these chapters, man.
Totally. I think about myself even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Just different person. Not a bad person.
Yeah.
Not stupid or just different. You know, I was talking with Sarah, my girlfriend. We've been together. This will be our 7th year going into this now. And we laugh because we think about the people that we were when we first met.
Yeah.
You know, and we're like, man, you know, we were good people, but we were different. We learned a lot. And people only see you now because you're so visible because of what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't necessarily get to see the evolution
Progression.
of you. They get to see the documented version on Wikipedia and the videos, and like, oh, this guy was always fucking dope, man. You know, he had us all figured out. Like, he's so smart. You know, but you had to like some hard out. What are some examples? I mean, of some shit that really challenged you? Like,
I think the biggest challenge, and this is a story, I actually I told this story for the first time on my TEDx talk I did in 2016. I actually was the first time my mother ever showed up at one of my speeches. I dedicated to my mother. I was like kind of nervous doing that, let alone it was a TEDx. He was sitting in the front row.
oh, shit.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story. So when I dropped out of college, I'll give you the quick story in the beginning to get to the meat. I dropped out of college, my first semester. I wanted to make my parents proud, so I did go, and then I recognized it was a big
I want to make
business.
him proud, so I dropped out for a semester.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make them proud, so I went. You know, but then I was like, all right, this is
Here,
definitely, yeah,
all right, I'm out.
yeah. And it was like during finals week too, so I felt I let it go out a little bit, but
Shit.
yeah, it's funny. But so I ended up starting my first business, and I ended up getting a mentor. I built an online community for people who wanted to learn about stocks and, you know, trading ideas. And I was like, this was a problem I was going to solve. I wanted to start learning about the stock market. I didn't know how. So I was like, I'm going to create my own community. And I stole the idea of using a rating system similar to eBay or Amazon.
Yeah.
And it did really well. I got back then, which was a lot, 10,000 active members.
It's great.
And it was really awesome. And then it attracted a CEO who contacted me to advertise. And then he was like, you're only 19. Like, you don't even understand the value of what you've created. Come work with me. And he mentored me. And from his mentorship, I went through a huge failure. That's not the story I want to tell, though. I helped him for the whole year, had a huge, massive demo failure with him. From that failure, I was like, okay, regardless of that, I learned a lot from this. Let me take what I've learned and start an agency to do what I did for him using digital marketing to tell stories of small cap companies, and did that really well. I was making millions of dollars. Then all of a sudden, between 2008 and 2010 happened where I was investing into companies I believed in. I ended up investing into this company that had the patents for streaming content through smartphone devices, which is now like, forget about it.
Yeah.
Major. And it just goes to show that like sometimes you can be right, but you just time it off.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna win.
You can own a patent on. You can own a patent on that.
Yeah.
Because okay.
So the company had a patent for allowing content to be streamed through smartphone devices. So I went all in on this company, and it was right after I had made 7 figures on another investment through like investing into a gold mining company that I went and saw in Guadalajara, Mexico. I invest into this TV everywhere company is what the industry was called, TV everywhere. And I'm up $20 million on this stock. I'm in my mid-20s. I believe I was 25 years old. I thought I was completely invincible. I never seen money like that. $20 million in my account. And I stopped paying attention. I'm like, this thing is going through, it's going to go higher. I'm thinking like it's invincible. It's going to go higher. I'll never forget. I'm coming home from Connecticut with my mentor. And he was like, don't you think you may want to like take it out? And I was like, nah, it's going to break through 8. I'm good. It's about an hour drive home. And I'll never forget this day. The market crashes, tumbles, and I lose all of it.
No, like all of it?
No, like I was able to take out enough to be able to like pay my rent or whatever. But like I lost the majority of my net worth, period. Yeah, it was devastating.
What'd that feel like? Walk me through that.
Oh my God.
What did you go through?
It went through a biggest than when I learned about ego. Like very, very much like the one thing I learned was I learned about my ego. I was like, holy shit. I thought I was fucking invincible. I thought I was the absolute Superman, like could do it all. I'm so good. And I was embarrassed. I was really, really like, it like embarrassed me because I at the time had, my new Bentley GTC, white, red and leather, sick 22.
You made yourself into a rapper.
I had a penthouse. I was flying everywhere. I had it all. Now I'm like, oh my God, I got to sell my car. What am I going to do? And now everybody, I'm like, oh my God, but everyone knows, like, I knows that I'm the one who came up. I came out of and I was successful. And now I'm like, what? Like I was devastated. Like this is so fucking bad. So I'll never forget. I went to talk to my mom. My mom tells me this story. I didn't know this. She said to me, Gerard, when your grandparents immigrated here, we grew up.
Where'd they immigrate from?
My mother's Colombian. She was born in Colombia, but my grandparents immigrated from Venezuela. My grandfather ended up moving from Colombia to Venezuela to work with the poor and work with ships. And on my father's side, they through Ellis Island, they were from Italy. So my mother said when they immigrated here, they grew up in a 1 bedroom, this little apartment with a family of 5. And, it was tough. And she told me that one day she was walking home from school. She was only 14 years old. And her friend said to her, hey, Jenny, isn't that a building on fire? She walks home frantic. She's the oldest of my uncles and aunts. And she was worried, is everyone okay? Luckily, everyone was okay and got out, but they lost everything. So she goes, Gerard, we literally with the shirts on our, that's all we had with the shirts on our back. And she had to go to the school and beg her school teacher at 14 to sign a waiver for her to be able to leave, not go to school so she can go get a job, and cried to the teacher because teacher's like, no, you have to stay in school. And she's like, you don't understand. If I don't get a job, my family won't have enough money to eat. So she cried, and the teacher finally said, okay, if you take night classes, I'll sign the waiver. So he did. Now she's 14 years old. She couldn't get a job in Jersey.
Right.
So she ended up in the middle of the winter going to New York City to Canal Street. For those who don't know, Canal Street is like the Chinatown, like it's just it's a bad area. It's where everything is like you can buy all the fake Louis.
People use Canal Street as an example of a bad area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my mom got a job at 14 in the middle of the winter on Canal Street, watching stands outside that people that wouldn't steal from the stands, just to make a little bit of money to help provide for groceries for my grandparents. And she tells me this and starts crying. And I'm like in my mid-20s, and she was like, and then I went through that, and now I rebuilt myself, got a job. My mother was working 7 days a week in a supermarket to help me and my sisters. She was like, and if I was able to get through all of that, my mom went through now surgeries, back surgeries, knee surgeries. I've seen my mom go through so much. That's why I was like, my goal has always been to just give back to her, my father. And, she's like, if I got through that, you bet your ass, you better stop bitching right now, and you better get the fuck back out there and do this shit again. And that was the only motivation that I needed.
You're like,
man. I
well,
was like, okay, whoa, okay,
yeah.
all right,
You win.
you win.
Yeah.
Let's go,
Yeah.
let's go. And then that's when I overcame that. I started looking at the economy. Okay, so why did this happen to me? I mean, not bitch about it. Like, why? What really happened? What's going on with the economy? And I was looking at our generation. Everyone's looking at Kim Kardashians and, Jersey Shore, reality TV.
Yeah.
No one's paying attention to the true economics of what's happening in our country. Inflation, trillions in debt. Like everything from China. Like what's really happening? All my friends graduating from college with debt, can't get a job, degree. So I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, are there any millennials that are actually exposing all of this? So I was like, okay, I'm going to fucking expose this shit. And I started making documentaries on the economy. And my last documentary was called College Conspiracy, to expose the student loan debt crisis. And then that's when my whole passion for video and for content grew. And then that's what led to the Elite Daily. So you see how that whole
you had to go through that.
You had to go through that, and that's what we're just talking about. People don't know that side. They see the success of Elite and they're like, nah, man, like there is a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of ups and downs throughout my life, a lot. And it'll never end. I'm still like, I still don't look at myself as a multimillionaire, like in the sense of like mass. I all that money I put into a trust that I can't even touch.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like because I lost the last time,
So that's okay, I see what happened last time.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Like, I see what happened last time. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because people will just assume that because you've had one success, you don't know the pain of having a really big failure. And also they forget about like generational pain because you come from like a family of immigrants, right?
Love that.
That's generational pain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know Tom Bilyeu from Quest Nutrition. Do you know Tom?
I know of him. I might have met him.
Might have. I don't know.
I might have met him at Live.
So
it's like hard to remember that.
I was talking to him yesterday or a couple of days ago, and he was talking about the idea of generational poverty, and not even in the sense of like lack of money, but in the mindset of generational poverty and of
so true.
Yeah, of like multiple generations of families not understanding how to come up out of their situation. Do you think that because of the way the internet is now, we've democratized ourselves in a way where everyone can make it, or you still think there's like a hierarchy that some people won't break through?
I do believe that we have democratized it through social. I think you can now. Like we are the generation right now. We've proved it.
Yeah,
we've proved
even
it.
More Generation Z, honestly.
Yeah, even more Generation Z. It's insane.
They don't even know because we can remember pre-internet. We're the last generation. Millennials are the last. We're the bridge, right?
We're the bridge.
Because my parents are pretty young.
We're the role models too.
Yeah, we're the role models on the bridge. And my parents are Generation X, and then we're Y.
Yes.
And then there's Z.
Correct.
And so Z doesn't know a life without the internet. But we remember, I still remember old Tony Robbins tapes back in the day, and it was so hard to create content.
Yes.
Like you had to get a traditionally published book, or like get a factory to manufacture CDs or something, or tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have this device. Where do you see it going? Like she's supposed to be filming on the device right now.
Yeah.
Where do you see the technology going? How is it going to get more democratized? I don't know.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy, man.
It's unbelievable. So for me, from like paving your own way, I really believe that like there is no better time in the history of humanity to be someone who can create your own life of success, like create your own destiny, create your own life of success, of freedom, to be an entrepreneur. To have the resources to have an idea and truly, I think it's like the most entrepreneurial time in history. But it does somewhat to me, like I think a lot about like people, the people. First of all, like I don't know how to talk about it, like being present. Like I just look at a lot of like my nephews growing up and people that are just so attached. I'm like, what is it going to look like in another 30, 40 years? And I see memes of people like with their heads down, phones and everything, and I just think it's important for us to see the opportunities of how technology has given us, the ability to truly create and innovate and communicate and connect more than ever before in history of humanity. But at the same time, it's I believe it's so important to really still connect
Yeah.
and not get so caught up in just these devices and through the technology. Like
Yeah.
it's going to create so many opportunities, but also like remember that I always say this because I come from a background of content where like analytics and data is so important. And I'm like, just always remember that behind all of that data, behind all of these devices, behind all of those views, behind all of those likes, we are humans. We're people. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, it's so funny too, because I talk to my team about this all the time. We think like, what was our open rate and what was, what are the data points and what,
Right.
and I'm like, each one of those is a person.
Yeah.
Just remember that, so if we look at like an email that we send out and, only 20,000 people opened it or whatever. I'm like, okay, so those are 20,000 lives. And if we want to get a better result for our business, we have to start thinking from the perspective of how do we impact these people's lives?
Yes.
It's not about like,
Get it.
we can do clickbait shit that will work
Yes.
occasionally,
Right.
but these are real people.
Mhm.
They're like, you forget that you're getting emails on your device and you're having thoughts about it, and other people are doing the same thing too.
Yeah.
People, we don't want. This is the reason why it's so important. Going back to what you said, to create quality shit.
Yeah.
Because there's options now. I don't need to read your email. I don't need to be on your Instagram. I don't need you because anyone else can fill
Yes.
your position. So what are you bringing me?
Yeah.
But do you think it's hard to be authentic at scale though? Because like you're a regular
There's a
person.
lot of people that are unauthentic at scale right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say names, but
Yeah,
it's
don't say
pretty shocking to me. And they've created, and not to take anything away from them, they've created immense amount of success.
I know.
But I just look at it like, whoa, like what does that look like? I could not live that life. I could not live that life. I think that God bless anyone out there that wants to, fake it till you make it, or leverage the money to create
or other people's money.
other people's money. Like, but what I would tell you is just like, again, just from wisdom, I learned this from Tony. It was my favorite quote, man. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure.
Yeah.
And you can go make all the money in the world. And trust me when I tell you, I have made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. But I just genuinely feel that like there's a certain point, even when you start making millions of dollars, like it's nothing you really can't do. It's not like, I want to strive to be a billionaire and I want to go buy a private island. No, like, look, once you start making, you're at that certain level of, 7-8 figures. Listen, I want to go buy a Lambo, I can go buy a Lambo. If I want to go, do this.
Now what?
Now what? Like, fuck the money. Just, you got to figure out what you want to do in life that's going to be truly authentic, that's going to create a real legacy, because people will remember, who you are.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to feel good that like when people get to know you past that screen, that like you're that dude or that girl, like you are that chick, that dude that is still the same authentic, real person, period. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I love, is that I love, like, the best compliment someone can give me is that after if they're a fan and they see me on Instagram and stuff and I meet them and then they get to know me, they're like, yo, man, fuck, you're like such an inspiration to me, to just know that like you are humble and you're cool and you're down to earth and you're genuine. And like, I really feel like you are someone who could be like a mentor. That's someone I look up to, but also is relatable and like genuine. And like, to me, that's like, fuck yeah.
That's exactly what I was going for.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is who I am. And that I'm glad that people feel that. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's just like, that's the best thing that's the best feeling in the world, because when it's all said and done, money or no money, like I genuinely, my high is when I can get people in a room. It could be 5 people at a dinner, which I want to do. We should do this. I wanted to do this. I want to talk to you about this. Do like a meetup out here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Or you end up going on stage and you have a huge event and you have thousands and thousands of people and streaming it to millions. No matter what, man, like, the people respect you. Yeah. Because of who you are as a person. And that's,
it's also less tiring to not have to lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
like, it's just, if I don't
creating a show every day.
I don't have to remember what I told you who I was, because I'm just the same person. It's easier that way. And that's, I think, one of the reasons that I've been successful in becoming like a thought leader and building a brand.
You are. That's what I love about you.
Because it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to fake it, and it just makes it easier for me to go about my day.
Yeah. Being honest, that's why I was so excited to meet you, because you come off super genuine and all, and just so freaking like you come off very real. You care about people. You're very like, I believe you're also, you give people like real solutions and knowledge that's tangible, that they can take action right away, right now, and it's just, it's actionable, it's tangible. It's not always like you have to go and think you need to be this crazy, build this like, 7-8 figure business. It's like, no, this is something you can do right now to create this extra income, this extra 20,000, this extra money that will make an impact in your life right now. And you're super authentic and real. And I love that about you. But for me, the biggest thing is like meeting you in person. Like I'm such a people person. It's like, I see that.
That's why I love these podcasts.
I see you, but it's like, yo, let me get together with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I love these podcasts. That's why I wanted to have a studio to do it. Like they have Skype podcasts, and that's cool. I do this podcast for me, selfishly.
Mhm.
Like, we'll put it out, and it's going to get a lot of likes and shares, all that shit. I do it for me.
Yeah.
Because I get to meet people, and I get an excuse to say, like, come by the studio.
Yeah.
We'll hook you
It's
up.
a great networking tool. For
It's
sure.
a great networking tool. People overlook that, too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And there's something that I'm coming out with next week. I haven't talked about it publicly yet, but since this is dropping, and now I feel like this is the start of an amazing, amazing relationship between each other, a legacy type relationship that I look to build true, long-term friendships, relationships for life. You may have to get me back in that jujitsu dojo.
me and Sean will tighten you up.
I am launching something called social currency, and I have yet to talk about it a little bit. But like before last year, I never gave a shit about my brand, me personally, my personal brand. Never cared.
You were busy.
All I cared about was building my businesses.
Yeah.
And it was after the sale of Elite Daily that I actually got depressed, and I was like, "Fuck! Like, what do I do now?" Like,
talk about that for a minute.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it was basically, look, I'm not trying to be like, yo, Saab, like, I feel bad for you, Gerard, like you just sold your company. No, it was just like, damn, like I was the blocking vote, and I was against selling. So my partners were sell. Is the right time. Facebook's changing their algorithms. Everybody wins, and this $1 billion company gives security to all 200 of the people that like grinded with us. And it all made sense. But I was like, but they're valuing us off of revenue, and we just scratch the service revenue, and like our culture of what we created, our brand, the fact that people like want to work for us, and they're willing to, they understand the purpose. And for me, I was like, we're not getting valued on that. So I was like, we're not ready yet. And our
outcome, on the money, not the mission.
Exactly. That's what I was like. I was worried about the money, not the mission. And again, my CEO I mentored, he was 19 years old when we started. So he was like, I want to get this W under my belt, you know what I mean? Type of thing. And so I ended up voting because the number one thing, the reason why was because I did see that they were right about the fact that Facebook was starting to make these little changes to their algorithm that we said this could significantly hurt us. And it did.
It did.
And it did big time.
What was Ryan saying earlier, Sean? Do you remember what he was saying? He was saying like, yeah, I used to see Elite Daily a lot. Now I don't see him as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We were at 80 million. We sold, crazy how this crazy works, this timing. It was right when Kim Kardashian came out with that picture with the champagne bottle, ass out.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? And went viral over the internet, broke the internet, the Break the Internet campaign.
Yeah.
So it was like right at that. It was like the height. We sold out our traffic. But then, so afterwards, I was like, man, my baby, what do I do next? I don't know. And then I started looking at thought leadership. I want to tell my story a little bit more because people are asking me to come speak about Elite Daily, but they don't realize it was 14, or at the time, 12 years of grind and overcoming failures and adversity to get to that success. So I was speaking in Silicon Valley, I was ranked top 100 in New York and all this stuff. And I started looking at thought leadership, and I saw a lot of people out there selling people on the dream and on the motivational quotes and all stuff, but they actually haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, this bothers me. And I recognize, how millennials are so easy they gravitate to perception. And I was like, whoa, like I need to step up as a leader myself. And then I went and met Tony Robbins. Crazy story for another, I'll tell you that on another time, but how that happened was unbelievable. I met somebody and they gave me two front row tickets. They're like $10,000 a pop.
Yeah.
And it was like
UPW?
UPW.
Yeah.
Completely transformative for for my sister particularly, and for me, it was more of really enlightening to me, because like I wasn't a person who was depressed or anxiety. All the people around me were going through some shit. I was just more of like, wow, I want to impact people like that someday. Like I need to be able to, even if a tenth of that, like this guy's really transforming people's lives. And that's when I was like, I'm gonna take my personal brand serious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. And I started doubling down. And what I've seen in my life from building my social currency in the past 2 years has been unbelievable. The amount more impact that I've been able to make, period. The amount of influence that I have, the amount of my circle of the people in my life now, the quality of them, the income. Like I literally, tomorrow I'm shooting with Toyota. Like Toyota is paying me,
That's right.
as an influencer. And I don't know if I can actually say how much, but it's like a substantial amount of money. It's like a person's whole teacher's salary to go and like drive a Corolla and have 5 people pitch me their idea. And then I'm giving, as in partnership with Toyota, are giving $15,000 away to the winner.
Yeah.
That's like amazing. I got flown to the pit of F1. I'm working with brands. I'm impacting people. I'm speaking in different places. My circle of influence is growing. My love life is better because I'm able to get free trips to Bali, to Thailand, to freaking all over the world with my beautiful girlfriend. So it's like, okay, whoa, this is a real currency.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, no one's coined social currency. So I like trademarked that. And I'm like, there's an actual process. There really is a process to leveraging content to build your brand, to get to that outcome. And it's not going to happen overnight. It does take time, just like anything else, like we talked about with content, but there is a strategy and process in which to do it. So what I've done is I've spent the past 6 months looking at my process, understanding my strategy, both from Elite Daily Days to my personal brand days. And I built a course called Social Currency that I'm dropping.
Yeah. I love that shit. Please, please let us help you promote that.
Oh,
because I'm not going to make that course, so I'll promote the shit out of yours.
Yes, thank you. I would love that. I definitely would love to talk to you, collaborate, and get some knowledge from you because you're doing it. I've never launched a webinar. I've never launched, that kind of course. You're unbelievable. Like your email marketing is fantastic. So I would love to collab and learn from you. My biggest thing is like we can all learn from each other, right? Like we all have a story, and like we're all like, yo, let's help each other. Let's bring value to each other's life.
Man, you're so right about the social currency. I was talking to my girlfriend. And I was like, this is a couple months ago. But I was like, babe, like for whatever reason now, because I write, I can like that's it. People respect me, and having a little blue check mark means something to people. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I'm speaking at NASDAQ. Why?
Wow. Beautiful.
Why though? I mean, I know why.
Yeah, you know why, but it's like
it's kind of surreal.
Surreal.
Because not that I don't deserve it, but it's really through impacting other people that you get recognized.
Yeah.
And now anyone can impact another person or group of people.
Yeah.
And if you have a system to do that,
yes,
it can get a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. And it's proven. So for me, it was like, I'm not going to do this and launch a course or launch anything like that unless I know that it's proven in my life to actually significantly move the needle for the quality of my life. And it has significantly, even at, the level of after having an exit, like it's literally unbelievable. And the biggest thing is that it allows you to shed so much light on something bigger than you. Like you think about it like, yeah, me. I'm going to get my social currency up and I'm going to have all these unbelievable things that come into my life. I'm going to be speaking here and I'm going to be making money. I'm going to be traveling. The best part about it is it allows you to shed light on a bigger, something that's bigger than you. Yeah. And that for me is founders.
Yeah.
The social bit. So, again, now speaking in Silicon Valley and going and speaking in Silicon Alley and, doing all of that, I've learned about these startup ecosystems that these huge people started, like Peter Thiels of the world, the Googles of the world, Y Combinator's 500. And I'm saying to myself, holy shit, why don't we have that in inner cities?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of reasons.
I'm whatever termed as a minority, right? It's like
not anymore.
But regardless, there's a statistic that less than 1% of VC capital goes to minority entrepreneurs. I couldn't believe that.
That's surprising Because there's so many minorities.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think maybe it may change going into this year.
I'm not challenging your stats. I'm just thinking
I think
to myself.
it might have been like a 2015, 14.
Well, it's not enough.
But to me, it was like, okay, when I read it, when I was starting Founders, because that's when I got the statistic, when I started Founders, I was like, this needs to change. So, and then I was like, all these startup
problem.
I found the problem.
Right.
I understood that. I looked at people out there that were providing a solution, but at a different market.
Yeah.
And I started looking at, okay, my roots are in Newark. That's where my grandparents were. That's where my father was. That's where I got my namesake. It's where there is an issue there. There's a lot of poverty there. There needs to be job creation there. There needs to be inspiration there. And then at the same time, there's so much happening in Newark, like $2 billion in investment. Whole Foods came to town. Italy just came to town. Starbucks came to town. Those are big signs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening there. And there's 40,000 students. There's big universities there. And then, so I came up with this model of providing a live, work, play district where we build these buildings, apartment buildings to provide affordable housing to students and entrepreneurs, with the whole downstairs being this like fantasy factory, which has only been my inspiration from Rob Dyrdek. And then bringing in a food incubator, building an art gallery in the district, building a production studio, building fitness, building the jiu-jitsu, So, bringing this whole district, but we've seen these districts get built, like in Wynwood, right? You're seeing.
Can I come out and see that? I want to come out and see that.
Oh, you have to, dude. Come and speak, please.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For sure, we got to talk about that. So that's the whole business model, and it's been the most fulfilling work of my entire life. We've gotten people that were homeless that are now starting businesses.
Butterflies.
I have kids that have had their friends murdered, family on drugs, to now going and doing motivational speeches unconventionally in their high school. Wow. I've got people that have flown from over 13 applications from 13 countries that want to move to Newark now. I've got the mayor behind it, and then
no one wants to move to Newark. So you're changing the economy too.
Changing the economy, and the whole process, like long term, is to take this brand Founders and replicate it like a WeWork to change these type of communities. The next being in Compton. Yeah, next to USC.
If you get Kendrick out there.
Yeah, Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, my boy Ryan Blair, trying to put the squad together right now. So I've never said that publicly. This is another drop. So, word.
That's interesting too, because I think that the minorities in those neighborhoods where people just start with a natural disadvantage, I feel like the hunger is there. So it's like the energy is even better spent in those communities, because it's not that Silicon Valley isn't cool and everyone has ideas, but I feel like sometimes people are lazy, in areas where they
take
start.
a lot of times they take it for granted. Yeah. It's not a shot to them, because they've in my opinion, they've sparked it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for them, right, we wouldn't even have this maybe even having this conversation.
Yeah. It's not strange at Stanford to see a startup incubator.
Right.
Whatever.
Exactly. Oh my God, you got to come to mind, dude. At night, it's the craziest thing in the world. It's all glass. The incubator is all glass. It glows, and it's in the hood.
Yes.
It's so dope. And we have art in there, and it's like, what is this place? It looks, what they said to me? They said to me, gee, it reminds me of like, we felt like X-Men, and you're Xavier, and you just made us understand our powers like now.
Yeah.
Like they were like that. Like before this was here, we all felt like we were outcast to the world. And now we feel like we can be superheroes. Professor
X's school is kind of like an incubator too, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's actually that's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So, and it's the most fulfilling work of my entire life. So it's cool when you build that social currency, you can do something that is way bigger than just yourself. And how I learned that. And there's a lot of research that went into the Founders concept, right? There's a story called Building 20.
Did you get investors to help you?
Not yet. I'm trying to get investors right now. So if anyone's interested, I just opened up the door for investors. So there was a lot of research that went into this concept and how it would work. There's a story of Mark Zuckerberg's headquarters and Steve Jobs' headquarters was built around a concept called Building 20. Now, most people don't know this, but look up Mark Zuckerberg's headquarters. It's Building 20. Nobody would understand why, but it was one of the first incubators that was built off of MIT, where they didn't know where to put all their students that were like creative and had ideas. So they threw them in a building. It had no name, just Building 20, bricks. And it was one door in, one door out. And it was this open collaborative space that everyone had to bump into each other. There's no walls, everything. And some of the greatest inventions of our time have come from Building 20. Most people don't know that. It was shut down and made a museum that has yet to open to the public. Most of our generation does not know about this. So my whole thing was replicating Building 20 in inner cities.
Yeah.
So with the housing, with with the living aspect of it. So
So you have
I get hyped about
so
it.
you have like literally like students and founders are living in the building.
Yeah,
I like what you're doing because WeWork is trying something like that now.
they are. They're
Um,
double downing on that exact model.
Yeah, but theirs looks a little bit more like a commune. It's a
Yeah.
little bit. Have you seen the documentary on it?
Oh, they did a documentary?
Yeah, they did a documentary on it.
Oh, fuck, I didn't see
It
it.
was like a 20, 30-minute documentary on We Life, I think it's called, or
We Live.
We Live.
Fuck, I gotta see that.
Yeah, it's pretty. You should check it out because they lay out how
Is it
everything
Netflix
works.
or no?
It's like a long
YouTube?
YouTube documentary.
Okay, I gotta go check that out ASAP.
Yeah, it's
But I've been studying the We Live model.
Yeah, they there are some things I like about it, some things I don't, but I think overall it's a really good model for cultivating because the thing is like
Yeah.
there's there's a lot of stereotypes that maybe minorities don't have the ability to do this stuff, but it's really the environment. They don't have the environment.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like you, a lot of people in my family just didn't have the opportunity.
Yep.
You know, to come. Like my family's from inner city Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, so
Wow.
we were getting shot
There you go.
before we were born.
Yeah.
You know, and when
And
you're
Dan Gilbert's doing it now. over
yeah,
there.
yeah, and so it takes social currency sometimes, and even just one person rising up
Yes.
to be able. But you can pull a lot of people up, man.
So much.
Dude.
It's happening right now, right?
Yeah.
Every day. It's just like
You can pull a
it's-
lot of people up.
It's really spectacular to see. It's really cool, and I'm blessed. And my whole thing is like
I see it on
calling,
your,
yeah, calling all leaders. You know, for me, it's like, hey, if you feel that you've grown up, you were talking about the grit. Like I'll bet on the grit all day long. I just had an article come out called "Betting on the Grit." If you're a leader out there, and like we said earlier, you don't need to be this big time successful CEO to be a leader. But if you're a leader out there and you come and you're ready to step up and you want to be a part of the founders movement, we are calling all leaders, man. We want to see founders go to these cities. You know, it's from Newark to Compton to Atlanta to downtown Miami. Like this concept it's proven. You've seen it in all these big major cities. So like it's changing lives, and the difference between me and a WeWork, or us rather, in a WeWork is the fact that WeWork, their business is co-working, co-live, and
Sure,
it's
sure.
money. It's
Yeah.
backed by VCs, it's money.
Yeah.
A lot of accelerators, incubators, they're backed by VCs. We're not. We're
Yeah.
backed by entrepreneurs, by
Yeah.
entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. And we actually want to help you. If you have an idea or you have a business, we are going to hands-on help you build that business. It's not going to be like, hey, come in. We're going to give you this glass cubicle where you can work from, and
Yeah.
you're going to pay us
Figure it out.
for your desk.
Yeah.
And we're going to, but and there's a lot that they sell, culture and a network, and that's huge. And we want that as well. But for us, it's different. For us, it's an open space. We're going to help you. We're going to be mentorship. We're going to bring in
exactly.
these, and we're going to help you build your businesses. So if you're someone out there with an idea or with a business and want to be a part of something like this too, then hit us up. We do 2 cohorts a year. All you got to do is go to founders.com and just apply.
FOWN.
Yeah. So the word own in the middle, because we want to teach people to like own your destiny, own your mistakes, own your life, own it. Whatever it is, own it. That's like a motto of ours inside Founders. No matter what, own it, man.
That's a great place to kind of like bring it home. I'm gonna ask you a few questions that are kind of unrelated.
Cool.
Gerard Adams, do you believe in aliens?
No,
No. Why not?
that was just my instinct.
I They don't exist.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I think they're fictional.
You think fictional?
Yeah.
What's the number one challenge in a relationship for entrepreneurs or
I think
romantic
maybe we're
relationship?
the aliens.
Yeah, we're the devices too. We're the phone's device.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the number one challenge for entrepreneurs in romantic relationships?
In romantic relationships,
Yeah.
Communication,
Communication.
patience. Just finding someone that really truly understands where you're at in your life, what your goals really are, and getting on the same playing field and saying, hey, look, we both want to see each other grow here. We got to be patient. We got to work together. We got to communicate really, really well, because
Yeah.
you are, as a young couple, super focused on what you're doing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it can
yeah.
be somewhat selfish a lot of times. So I think it's the 3 key things is communication, affection, forgiveness, and patience.
Those are really good ones, and those are like good personal mottos
Yeah.
for your own life, even outside of like romantic relationships. You're on your deathbed. It's 95. Maybe you'll make it to 100 if you're lucky,
Aim
right?
for 120,
But
bro.
120.
Right.
Dave Asprey's going for 180.
Whoa.
I don't know. At that point, everyone's dead, so I'll be real sad because all my family's dead.
Yeah.
But you're 120. You're on your deathbed. What will you have? What do you think will have made you smile the most?
My kids.
Your kids? Plan to have kids?
Absolutely.
How many do you want?
It's in God's hands.
It's in God's hands.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank
This
you.
is great. This is great, man.
Yeah, this is
This
awesome.
is really good. This is like a good natural flow,
Yeah,
man.
I
like
love
it.
it. I love
like
it. Yeah, this is just the beginning, bro. Me and
Yeah.
you're gonna do a lot of this.
I'm excited, bro.
Me too.